Hello, this is Maria, and welcome to my stamping world. Today's tutorial is on how to put the images back onto stamps that have been unmounted from their wood blocks. Now, when you unmount, when you take them off their wood block, you lose the image that's on the back of the stamp, so that when you go to use the clear blocks, you really can't see what you're stamping. And chances are it may not stick to the block. Now, if you're anything like me, what you might have done is taken the image that was on the back of the wooden block and put it on the back of your stamp, thinking that that would work. Well, it doesn't work. They don't stick. And what some demonstrators have resorted to doing is putting some glue on the back and then having them stick. But I'm going to show you a different way how you can put your image back onto the unmounted stamp. Here are the supplies that you'll need. You'll need some Scotch tape. You'll need some tombow glue. That's the glue that works the best. Some paper snips, a pencil, and you'll need some tissue paper, and this is just ordinary gift wrapping tissue paper. And you'll need some vinyl, and this is 6-gauge vinyl that you can buy in your local fabric store. I bought a quarter of a meter, and it cost me less than $1. You'll also need some paper, some protection for your work surface, and most of you will recognize this brown paper as the snake that comes in a Stampin' Up! Order. I actually smooth it out, iron it. I know I'm a bit obsessive compulsive, and I use it as protection on my work surface and also for gluing, and I always then have a clean surface to work with. I also use it to make books, but that's not part of this video. The first thing you do is take a piece of tissue paper and tape it to the protective cover of your work surface. If you have a larger piece of tissue, you might have to tape at the other ends as well. That holds it secure for the next step. Now, the next step involves using StazOn ink, and I use an additional piece of equipment, and that's a rubber glove. Now, if you don't have a rubber glove, that's fine. You can use these finger cots, but I wouldn't use the latex because a lot of people have sensitivities to latex. The reason I wear gloves is because I don't want to get StazOn ink on my fingers. And the second reason is that we'll be applying glue, and this prevents my fingers getting all glued up. Okay, this is the stamp. It's from a retired stamp set, but it demonstrates very well. You put the stamp down on the StazOn ink and you ink it up well. Okay, check to make sure it's inked up. Looks pretty good. Lay the stamp down onto the tissue paper. Now, this is not my idea, my original idea. A gal called Susan Peters put together a series of 3 videos on unmounting stamps, and she actually is the originator of this idea. I'm just expanding on it a little bit. Okay, then take the pencil and just draw a line all the way around the stamp. Okay. I know it's difficult for you to see it's on the back side. There. So there we have the image on the tissue paper. And while that is drying, you can clean your stamp. It dries pretty quickly. Okay, that's dry. Okay, the next step is to put some tombow glue directly on the image, and you're going to go over the line. And you just want a thin film on there. And this is one of the reasons why I wear gloves. Like I said, you don't have to. If you want to use your bare finger, that's fine too. And be gentle, because this is tissue paper and it tears very easily. The tombow glue never wants to come out when you want it to come out. Okay, you wait till that dries just a little bit, because one of the properties of tombow glue is that it gets tacky as it dries. And it dries very quickly. In the meantime, you can cut a piece of vinyl that would fit right over your image. And that looks pretty good. Just lay your vinyl down, and then with your finger or your thumb, just smooth all the wrinkles right out of this image. And this is going to be the part that's attached to your block. Okay, now at this point, I would suggest that you lift up the tissue paper, and you do this with great care, because the tissue paper will tear on you if you're not careful. And the last thing you want to do is, if you've taken the time to go this far, is to have the tissue paper tear. Now we'll just let that dry a little bit, and I've got another one that I have already done, and it's dry and ready for trimming. So now you take your paper snips and you cut just inside the pencil line. I'd rather cut just a little bit more than not enough. And here's the stamp we're going to put it on. Now, sometimes when you unmount the stamp, this has lost its stickiness, and this is not very sticky. So the idea is to take this and mount it on the back of the stamp, tissue paper side down. But if this isn't sticky, then you have to apply a little bit of glue. Well, I've taken my glove off, so I guess I can use my finger. Just put a thin layer of glue. And this you would have to do with stamps that you've put Easy Mount on as well. And now you just lay this image over the back of your stamp. There you have the image back on again. Now just turn it over, and you'll probably have some trimming to do. Sorry, I went off camera there. Okay. We have our image on the back of our stamp. Now what I suggest you do is you take a baby wipe and you clean off the stamp. And clean a block. Dry it with a paper towel. Make sure your stamp is dry, and test your stamp. Voila. It works, and you have an image. And you can test it by stamping. There we go. So that's an easy way to get the image back onto the back of your stamp so that you can see once again what you're stamping. Thanks very much for watching.